Hey, this is Michael, the God of Kitchens. Welcome back to another episode of baking bread. Today we will make a whole wheat bread. And today we will need a couple of ingredients. We will need 400 grams of whole wheat flour. We will need 400 grams of warm water, 100 grams of regular flour, please use organic, 10 grams of salt, and 10 grams of yeast. We're going to use our yeast starter. Please check below in the info section for the link to the video on how to do that. And let's get started right away. So we start with 400 grams of our whole wheat flour. Then we add the 100 grams of our regular flour, and we will just mix this up very gently. With that, we will mix up our yeast. And of course, our warm water. The first step is that we will get this in our mixer. We will not mix this too far in. Just want to get it nice and consistent. And then we will let it rest for about 20 minutes. You can also do this by hand or just mix it together in the bowl just like you see here. Again, this doesn't have to be super consistent. Important is that we can let the natural process of autolysis or autolyse, whatever that means in English. So this is how the final result looks like. Very simple. 2 minutes of mixing right here. I did this partially by hand. Just let this rest, cover it with foil and let it rest for 20 minutes. And it has been about 20 minutes. This step will save us a lot of time now in the rest of the kneading. So what we will add last before we do that is our salt. And you can knead this either way by hand for about 10 to 12 minutes and do a stretch and fold technique. I'm going to start actually on the machine and then finish by hand. And we will let this run for about 10 minutes in the mixer. Okay, and once we're done with the mixing, like I said, I'm going to give this a couple of turns by hand for about 4 more minutes. Well, you can just, use the machine if you like. I just think that the end result is always a lot better when do this by hand. So you want to use very little flour, and we're just going to use a stretch and fold technique to, get our dough a little more power. Just stretch it, pull it to the outside and turn it to the middle. And you get a better feeling of how it will develop. And while you do this, I'm gonna do this probably 3 times now, you can feel how much strength it gains, and it becomes a lot more elastic, and you will feel in the end that will build up a little bit of a skin here. Some on your hands as well, and you can see that it will now get a very nice ball shape. And the nice thing about this recipe is basically you can prepare it exactly 1 day in advance, so you can let this rest for 24 hours in the fridge. So this is exactly what we're going to do. You take a bowl, put a little bit of oil in. And just oil it out very gently, just so it doesn't stick later on. And you will place your dough right in here. And we will cover this up and keep it for 24 hours in our refrigerator and see how this looks like. Should about double in volume. So after about 24 hours, this will look something like this, and we will keep on bringing this into shape. As you can see, the yeast did some nice work here. And we will use the same technique, the stretch and fold. I'm also going to do this in a square form today, in baking form, so let's do this. Basically put in some flour already, add the dough. And we're going to let this brew for 1 to about 2 hours before we bake. All right, and we are done. Let's get this out here. And as you can see, we have a very beautiful color. We're gonna let this rest for about 20 minutes just to cool off so it stays nice and moist on the inside. Thank you for watching our video on this beautiful recipe. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.